Hey, my name is Justin and I'm the founder of Property Cashflow Institute, or PCI. In today's video, I want to show you where we got to now as a combined company, how we help our students, and a little bit of context around what PCI is, what it does, and how it helps people. To kick things off, I want to show you where we are currently, our portfolio, signed agreements, so you can see with proof there's undeniable evidence that we actually operate and run this strategy right now. Then I want to give you a little bit of context around where we began and how we started this process. And then of course finishing with examples of our student success and why we operate differently in this space. So to kick things off, I want to start by showing you live examples of our current portfolio. Now the reason why this is so important to understand is because most coaches in the space rely solely on who they are, what they've done, and teach the systems. Now this sounds logical, but if you do not have more examples of things that you've experienced or other people's experienced, then it's harder to teach multiple different angles. So what makes us different here at PCI is it's not just me. My business partner and I, we run 14 properties combined to show scale, as well as the execution across multiple different states. The reason why this is so important is that it combines years of experience, portfolio building, and expertise across multiple different fields, strategies, and states in Australia to give you the best opportunity for learning and how to actually execute a specific strategy that fits your situation. Now to kick things off, I wanted to show you our active portfolio right now. Now remember, this is our combined portfolio. This is Caulfield South, Melbourne East, Glen Waverley, Clayton, Surrey Hills, and another one in Clayton. So this is the properties that we're currently actively running that are listed and have tenants inside. To show you an example of this in proof, here's a screenshot from my business partner showing the rent coming in every single week. And we've got another one here showing the rent coming in every week. So this property, these properties are actively being run. They are bringing in cash flow from our combined portfolio. I also want to show you active leases that we have to show you evidence of our execution. Now we combine our properties and our portfolio as well as our strategies to make sure that we are covering all the grounds when it comes to building a sustainable property cash flow business. So we've got this one here. Here's another one from a different property as well. So we've got active leases running as well as our strategies and our combined portfolio. Now I just want to take you into Stripe really quick because this is our payment processor. This is how we make sure everything runs like a gym membership and we pull funds out of people's account automatically. Sometimes rent fails, but then we can pull it out of their account straight away. Today is the 19th of August, so you can see that these are all active. These are the subscriptions that we run, and this is exactly how the payments come in. These are active right now, refresh, so you can see all of these rent accounts and the money coming in from our active portfolio. So you can see here that this has got active payment proof evidence as well as the pictures, lease signed agreements, so you can show that we are operating this ourselves and not just teaching a strategy from theory. We are active managers of this strategy inside our program. So we're teaching what we know. So the lessons that we learn, we're passing them on to fast track your success and stop you falling into the same mistakes that we've made previously. So that's where we are today. We currently run 14 properties with a combined revenue of $1.45 million across the portfolio. We're active participants in this strategy, so we're not just teaching from theory, we're actively running it, and every problem that we encounter, we are able to pass that on as learning to save you from those same mistakes. This is the evidence around Property Cashflow Institute as the backbone fundamentals of how we operate our company. We practice this strategy actively and pass on what has worked for us, what didn't, and how to build your own property cash flow strategy dependent on your own situation. So that's where we are today. But where did we begin? Now, my first property was in late 2017 to 2018. This is where my wife and I purchased a property and we fell into co-living by mistake. We wanted a way that we could make money, make friends, and also cover the mortgage repayments. So we created our first co-living property. It was a 5-bedroom house. And yes, we lived in it, but it was the first taste of co-living and how to actively manage a property for profit as well as supporting our lifestyle. From here, it helped pay down the mortgage, it built cash flow, and we made lifelong friends along the way. From there, my wife and I actually moved out and ran the property as a co-living house without us being there while we went and traveled Canada and the US. While we went traveling, this strategy actually allowed us to profit from the property while not worrying about the mortgage itself and actively managing it from overseas, which means that we were in charge of coordinating any maintenance issues, any garden situation, as well as the housemates actually getting along in the property. So this was the very first taste of co-living back in 2017 to early 2018. Now from there, once we returned to Australia, we actually purchased a normal negatively geared property up in Queensland. And we were rent vesting, which is pretty standard for what people actually do when they want to build a portfolio. You rent somewhere that you want to live that's lower than a mortgage, and you use your surplus income to buy negatively geared assets to eventually sell them, transition into commercial and things like that. So from there, my experience went from building a portfolio ourselves to actually working in property and helping others do the same. I worked for some of Australia's biggest buyers agencies and then transitioned into rooming house development companies here in Perth, Western Australia, gaining a deep experience across the property spectrum. I help people build a negatively geared portfolio that costs tens of thousands of dollars to hold every single year to hopefully get wealthy on paper. And it works, but it's very hard to scale past a certain limit, usually around 4 properties. The wall that we encountered ourselves was actually that we couldn't purchase more properties because we had dependents. My 2 daughters had arrived and we were capped at serviceability, with my wife being a stay-at-home mum. So we needed a way to transition back to co-living or a different strategy out there in property that allowed cash flow to come first before capital growth. I remember having a meeting with one of my mentors at the time, and he said that the next year that if we wanted to purchase another property, I needed to personally make $220,000 a year. Now this was a 100% increase on what my current earnings were, which made that basically impossible to continue that journey. So from there, and my experience working under the CEO of the rooming house company, he actually started with this model and educated me and provided valuable insight and encouraged me to take action when moving into the co-living arbitrage model. So from there, yes, I did purchase education, and that cost $30,000, and it was nothing that I already knew. In fact, it was very basic. And a lot of the things that I was being exposed to were actually illegal, they were on the dodgy side, and it made things very challenging. But I had paid for that program, so I needed to take action. Essentially, it was hurt money on the line to push me into action. So from there, co-living arbitrage changed the equation entirely. We sold the property to free up capital and moved into the head lease co-living arbitrage model. First deal done, second deal done. Then we moved into different strategies like house hacking and co-living consulting to increase our income that was outside of the traditional way. So from here, we gained exposure and experience running different models around property cash flow businesses that allowed us to create a sustainable operation. That one strategic pivot unlocked a repeatable model and the foundation of everything that PCI teaches today. So Property Cashflow Institute was founded in November 2025. Now we have 40 members and are going strong. The PCI mentorship builds each member's strategy individually because no 2 people start from the same position. So at this point in the video, we've covered where we are today, our active evidence of rental leases signed, our combined portfolio, and the insights that got us there through previous experience. Now that's one thing, but a successful education program is all about transferring that knowledge and experience onto others so that they can then execute for themselves. And so from here, I wanted to give you a little bit of a spotlight into some people that we've helped. Shantha, Ian, Karthik, Josh, Cass, Henry, Jordan, Dion, Dave. Now these are people that we have selected to show you what we have done and how we have helped them. So let's take Shantha for example. She came to PCI wanting to learn property cash flow strategies. She's in New South Wales and she wanted a way to increase her income to take pressures off her job. So Shantha and her partner got to work. She watched the course and she started to execute. She called and was able to source 3 deals in New South Wales that the landlord was happy with our model, she could move forward with, and she could actually start turning a profit with property that wasn't hers. But the biggest value for Shantha wasn't necessarily the core model that we engaged with. It was actually understanding her specific situation and how we can turn her already purchased properties into co-living assets that increase the cash flow. So she's now done this on 2 properties, one in Queensland and one in WA. She's used our proprietary information, scalable systems, as well as the support to turn her WA property into something that was negatively geared around $11,000 to something that is now positive around $5,000 to $6,000. Now that might not seem like a lot, but what that does mean is she is no longer negatively geared. She is making money on a property that she hadn't been making money on before, and it takes pressure off her job because that property is now self-sufficient and making money. She's also done the same thing with our systems in Queensland, using a head tenant to be the manager of that property to then turn that property from a negatively geared asset to something positive. So you can see here with Shantha, she has been getting positive approval from the owner for subleasing for multiple deals in WA as well as New South Wales. Most of our conversations happen over the phone because that's how closely we work with our students. You can book one-on-one calls or call us up directly. And so that's how we're able to execute so quickly. Now, Shantha has been very thankful for understanding exactly how we operate and how to turn her properties from negative into positive, and now she's executing and finding more deals. Now, Ian was a very busy dad, single dad, and scaffolder who needed a way to make money from property. He was looking at Airbnb arbitrage, the numbers didn't really stack, and so he wanted to do co-living. He originally was looking in Sydney, but decided to move to WA because of the red tape and how things are a little bit different from state to state. So we found a property together with my connections and relationship, and we did something together. That's why we were able to do it in 2 days. The setup cost was $5,600 because he only needed to pay bond, buy one bed and one desk. I went to that property, set it up for him, so that's completely passive income coming interstate from a property that we sourced together. Now, what this means for him is he's making $28,000 a year from a property he didn't even own, and he paid less than $6,000 to get into that property. So again, just like everything else, here's some proof. So this is the text message chain between Ian and myself. So I asked him to remind me how much his property is making, and it's around $17 to $17.50 a week. It takes home roughly $400 passively. Now, after we changed up the management style, that is now $28,000 a year in passive income. He's very excited, and then of course he's asking for any other properties that are available next. So we're continuing to scale his portfolio together. Now, the cool thing about that property is that it was already set up, it was already furnished, which is why we were able to execute and focus on speed to cash flow. All it needed was a lockbox, a bed, a desk, photos taken, and to list that property. He got tenants in under 2 weeks, and he was cash flowing. Then we've got Karthik and Josh. So Karthik came into my community, and Karthik was able to source a deal directly with the owner and work with Josh, and Josh is now operating that property completely on his own. That property now makes $40,000 a year, and they sourced it interstate. Karthik's in the ACT, and Josh is in South Australia. Now, this is why this is so cool. Josh actually sent me a photo of his wife and the new car that they picked up because the cash flow from that property allowed him to actually have surplus funds to go out and buy a new car for his family. And this is what this strategy is all about, generating money from your property cash flow business to allow you to live more of the life that you want to live. I also want to show you the cash flow that he's getting. So if we jump in here, this is the screenshots that he sent. So the money is coming in every single week using our system through Stripe to make money from a property that's not even his. That property makes $40,000 a year in net income. He's already sourced another one in South Perth, had another one in Floria, and he's continuing to scale his portfolio. So you've got the evidence through Stripe, you've got the photos, as well as that situation and what it's allowed Josh to do. Now, this is Cass, and she wanted to run properties without putting too much money into it. She's very good at organizing herself. She was able to make $23,000 a year net income from not actually having to own any properties and just work alongside our community and network of people. So like I said, there's different strategies for everyone, and everyone can make money through a property cash flow business depending on what strategy suits your specific needs. So here's another piece of evidence, $23,000 a year coming in for Cass. Now, if I jump into the wins channel, I'll be able to show you a little bit about Henry. Henry joined our program a little while ago and actually secured 2 properties in Queensland. There's 2 properties, one in Indooroopilly and one in Brisbane South. These properties he's currently setting up, but he executed, made the calls, made the relationships, and was able to secure these deals completely on his own using our system and support to create 2 opportunities at the same time. Now, Henry's experience with property allows him to actually have a lot of access to furniture that he's saving money on to fully furnish the house and get those rooms rented out. So there's Henry with 2 deals Cass using her management and operational systems to make money. We've got Josh and Karthik working together to bring in $40,000 a year from a property to allow him to buy his car, and Shantha turning her 2 properties into cash flow positive properties, understanding her specific strategy. Then, of course, we have Jordan. Jordan came to us with 0 property experience at all, and he wanted to build a business after not having success in something else that he tried. So he joined PCI, and within 5 weeks, he had his very first property up and running in Lansdale in Western Australia. With no experience, he had that property up and running and making money. So today's win, signed 2 new tenants today, and they're moving in. This marks the first week the property will be cash flow positive, which is very exciting. So this is Jordan. Now this property is a bit different. He wants to live in this property and actually make money from it while he's there. If he doesn't live in the property, it makes $39,000 a year. If he lives in the property, he lives for free and he makes $10,000 a year. So that's Jordan's opportunity and the deal that he has. So at the moment, that property makes $33,000 to $39,000 if he doesn't live in it. And if he lives in it, it's completely for free and it makes him $10,000 a year by operating it as a co-living house. Dion came to us and he has 2 deals operational in Tasmania. He's currently making very good money with those properties, again, in a different state, and he's now looking to execute in WA. He lives in WA and he's looking at possible opportunities to expand his portfolio. So he's moving on to his 3rd property. Dave only came to us a couple of days ago. He joined on. He already has 1 opportunity. Now, Dave is a registered real estate agent, which means he can find, negotiate deals on behalf of people and on-sell those to different members in our community. This is only legal with a real estate license. So if you're being taught that you can source and sell these deals elsewhere with no real estate license, that's actually illegal for a profit. So I wanted to show you that just a couple of days with the right relationships, he's already got opportunities looking to pass on to our community. So that is exactly how we help people. We look at your specific situation, your starting point, and what property cash flow strategy works best for you. We move forward and we execute. Property Cashflow Institute is a collection of strategies matched to your situation, from house hacking, co-living consulting, community source deals that if you have money and no time, you can get deals from our community members just like Dave, and positive cash flow, restructuring your existing portfolio with our intellectual property to run a property cash flow business outside of your existing portfolio. Of course, capital partner pairing as well. If people have time and no money and money and no time, we can put them together to help them execute on a JV agreement to actually get started in their first property and continue scaling their portfolio. And of course, our core model, which is co-living arbitrage, head leasing a property, running it as a co-living property and keeping the spread. There's a collection of strategies through our experience over the years, as well as how we have helped our students to execute the right way that fits your exact situation. So this is why we built Property Cashflow Institute the way we did. It's built from real mentorship, not just a course that you watch and try and execute on your own. This model came from being mentored directly by builders in the negative gearing space and by CEOs inside of rooming house development companies, combined with years of experience and also paying for courses to fill the gaps myself. Like I said, the most expensive course I ever bought cost $30,000 and it fell short. I didn't want anyone else to feel stuck with only one option to learn property cash flow strategies. That's why Property Cashflow Institute exists, to help people understand exactly where they are and how to actually improve your situation. So what makes this different fundamentally? We are built for speed to cash flow, not capital risk. A lot of educators in the space are pushing or even not even telling their students that there's a $40,000 to $60,000 capital requirement to enter in projects in states like Victoria. Now, that is something that we do not agree with, because you're putting money into someone else's asset and that's just too risky for us. We focus on smaller deals by design. We focus on properties already furnished with the right configuration to make the numbers stack. So there's no heavy lifting required. There's no $40,000 to $60,000 capex risk. Lower capital means lower risk exposure, full stop. We don't put large sums into assets that we don't own. That's just silly. And of course, speed to cash flow. Smaller, ready-to-go deals get you earning faster than a renovation-heavy model ever could. Your risk is lower, speed to cash flow is quicker, so your results come faster as well. And of course, you are never doing this alone. Unlike other programs, this is a one-on-one strategy. We have sessions where we map out your specific situation to the right strategy from our suite of strategies. We then have the tools and systems, the calculators, compliance libraries, scripts, systems, and processes handed to you directly, and we work you through everything so you're never left feeling abandoned and how do I actually do this alone. We then have our community in Discord, a live community where we are sourcing deals, sharing wins, and you're with a group of like-minded people encouraging you every step of the way, as well as different opportunities inside of our community like capital partner pairing. This is where we can match you with partners where that's needed, either time or money. Whatever you're lacking, we will be able to help you out with that. And of course, ongoing mentorship, support that continues after your deal, not just before it. We want to make sure that you're setting up sustainably, understanding compliance, doing this the right way, and of course, understanding the fundamentals and executing so you can build a sustainable, scalable property cash flow business. This is what this video was designed to do. Give you more context, help you understand who we are, and if we are the right fit for you, and if you want to work with us. This is designed specifically around you and helps you understand that we can help you move forward with this because of our experience and how we operate now. So I hope this has been some valuable insight for you to help you understand how we operate as Property Cashflow Institute, why we built the company, and how we are different from others in the space to help you execute correctly, not just using a cookie cutter approach, but a tailored strategy that helps you get there and the support required to make it happen for you.